Right now, the world is waiting for the return of Christ to save them. They're waiting for the Savior to return on the clouds. Every eye shall see him. We are also instructed in that word that we live by the Spirit and not by the flesh. So when you hear those words about his return, are you discerning them through the Spirit or through the flesh? Do we trust the Master's words, or do we trust in our own thinking, or in the words of our teachers, preachers, pastors, camp leaders, elders, apostles? Or do we let the Master teach us? Because he told us that the kingdom of heaven doesn't come with outward observation. The kingdom of heaven is within. Everything that Yahushua taught us was about the Spirit. Those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. How many of you today are worshiping him in spirit and in truth? Or are you worshiping him with the flesh? Because if you are worshiping him with the flesh and through the flesh, then you're going to be looking up in the sky waiting for him to return. When he said, don't look here, don't look there. If he says there he is, don't go there looking. If he says he's in the field, don't go there looking. He does not come. The kingdom of heaven does not come with outward observation. What does that mean? It does not come with outward observation. That means that you can't physically see it. It comes from within you, guys. That's what he said. So if you're looking for the return of Christ, where should you be looking? In the clouds of your consciousness, or in these clouds up here in the sky? Is he coming in the inward world, where all shall see him? Those who have ears to hear and have eyes to see. The same thing Christ was always teaching was about the kingdom within. The kingdom that rises within you. I stand at the door and knock. He who opens up to me, I will sup with him and dine with him. What does that mean? He stands at the door and he knocks. Stands at what door knocks? The door of your internal world? What we call your conscience? If you're not aware of this, then you're going to constantly be looking outside of yourself for the things that he told you to look inside of yourself for. If you're looking for the return of Christ, you have to look within yourself, because that's where he's going to return. Behold, I send you the Comforter. He shall remind you of all things. Well, how is he going to remind you if you don't know where to look? The Spirit, the Holy Spirit, is going to bring to your remembrance everything that I taught you. He shall guide you in all truth, the Spirit of truth. Well, if it's a spirit, then that is to be found within. Israel, not without. And this is a hard saying for a lot of people who have been indoctrinated with believing that you have to look outside of yourself for these things. Christ is dealing with the inward man. When you have a decision you have to make, and your conscience is affecting you, why is that? Who is that? Oh, I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should do this. Or that would be wrong if I did that. What is that? I will pour my spirit upon all flesh. The Spirit, guys. What did you think he meant? I go away and I will send you one. What did you think he meant about that? And everybody's saying, well, he said he's going to come, he's going to return, it's going to be the second coming of Christ. These are the words that people are saying. But what did Christ himself say that he would do? This is not a rise of your moral and your conscience. This is not a rise of your inward man and the killing off of the outward man. That is not what this is. That is not what's written in that word. That you must be born again after the Spirit while in this flesh. Be baptized with the washing of the word. You are cleansed with the washing of the word. In the beginning was the word. The word was with God. The word was God. Divine love. You see? So where is divine love to be found? In the sky? In the hills? In the clefts of the rocks? Or within? That still small voice that speaks with you within. Does not come without observation, guys. Many false Christs shall come, saying, I am the Christ. I am the Christ. I am the Christ. What is Christ's message? Truth and love. Do they teach truth and love? Do they teach the message of the Messiah? Are they harbingers ringing in that call? That it is about the kingdom of heaven within you? Just like the Master taught us? And to separate from this world of materialism? Look, the Messiah. What do you all expect if you see the Messiah? What do you expect him to look like and be like? What are your ideals? And then once you formulate them, write them down on a piece of paper of what you think about the Messiah. If you saw him, what would you expect to see? And then compare it to what you read in the scriptures about who he actually was and is. And then see if you are judging your ideals of the Messiah on your flesh or on your spirit. Because Israelites expected Christ to be coming looking like a king from the worldly perspective, with nice clothes on, and nice robes, royal robes, and crown on his head, and servants. He said, I came not to be served, but to serve. They didn't understand that kind of king, riding lowly on a colt. The fox have holes, the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. Humility. I am meek and I am lowly of heart. Do you all understand this? Or do you all still have your worldly ideals of the Messiah? Or are you listening to what it truly says of him? That he's humble, he's meek and lowly, riding on a colt, he's a servant leader. And what was his message to us, you all? That we love one another. Love fulfills the law. That is the teaching of the Messiah. That is his doctrine. That we love God with all our heart, all our mind, and all our soul. And that we love our neighbor as we are loving ourselves. That's his doctrine. Nothing more than that. There were not any more requirements than that. And so if keeping Torah or keeping his law is loving, then that's an internal job that has to take place, is it not? You can't go from being a sinner to being a loving person without an internal transformation, guys. So why are you looking outside of yourself for the things that you need instead of looking within? Because you're caught up in materialism, which you're all going to be snatched away from now. It's not your choice. You're going to be pulled away from that to the truth. That it was never about materialism, you guys. I know sometimes I speak harshly when I'm talking about the world. But it is because is it simply an illusion and a deception to keep you from divine love. Your interactions with your spouse today, are they based upon the spirit and love, or are they based upon carnality and materialism? And if you're honest with yourself, then you'll say the correct answer. And then you'll make the correct choice. Because as long as we're pulled away from the spirit, then we're pulled away from the source. You can't serve God and mammon. This is all through the scriptures, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, line upon line. It's all there. That is, materialism is the problem. Fanaticism. Outward appearance. It's very easy to wash your clothes and make them white as snow and put them on and say, I'm a clean, holy, upright, just person. But is it easy to clean your soul and your spirit? Or are you a whited sepulcher walking around full of dead men's bones on the inside? See, because these words are the word. They are truth. They are light. And that's why this doctrine, when it goes into the world, is not received. It is grating to the consciousness of the person who's been indoctrinated by materialism, by fanaticism, by fear. But at the end of the day, all of you will realize this. Once your materialism is ripped away from you, you'll understand that it was about the internal world. What was going on in that heart? Without all your distractions, what was going on in there? Because that's what it's truly about for you today. Making that decision to submit to the will of the Most High, divine love for you. Or to continue to chase after your own will in this world, chasing after materialism. The materialism is falling, guys. Can't you see it? I mean, can't you see that that's happening on the earth? Materialism is falling. So that your attention can be put where it should have been this whole time, which is on source. And his truth and his law. His Torah. Which is love. Making the loving choice, guys. And your conscience will bear witness against you. See, you don't need anybody watching you. You don't need anybody to watch you to know whether you did something right or wrong. Your conscience will bear witness against you. And we want a clear conscience today. Well, how do you develop a clear conscience? By living with a pure heart. And how do you obtain a pure heart? By submitting to divine love and letting him teach you and guide you. Which is what we all need today. We all need it. Listen. Listen to the clamor of this world. The machines. The material. How many people in relationships have ended that relationship over materialism? How many relationships have been ended over materialism or money? Not because of the character of the person, not because of the qualities that they had within them, but money. The money ran out. The person lost their employment, or they quit their job. But the money changed, and so the relationship changed. Now I have a question for you guys. Do you think that relationships should be based upon the money that is made in the relationship, or the content of the character of the two people? I will be with this person because they are kind. They exhibit the fruits of the Spirit. They are patient. They are trustworthy. They may be broke as hell, but they are trustworthy, which is more value than that money. Believe me. And see, you all have been placing money on a higher frequency, on a higher vibration, Then things like trustworthiness, things like justice, honor, honesty. We don't judge those as high price qualities when they are truly the things that are of value in this world. But nope, we see a person that has a nice car, has a lot of money and nice clothes, and we go, that's the person I want to be with. And they're empty on the inside. They have none of those qualities. Because how are those qualities developed? Like being a trustworthy person, being a patient person. How is patience cultivated in a person? By pain and suffering. That's how these things grow in an individual. That's how character is forged. Through fire. Gold is purified in the furnace, is it not? And is that not what Abba said that he would do with his elect? Purify them in the furnace? To build those qualities, see? To make it pure. All the filth and all the dirt that was in there, when you put the gold in the furnace, it's all out of there when it comes out. And that's what Abba's done with us. You see? And now the world is about to be put through the fire. And be purified of its unrighteousness. So that it can come back to the ways of the Most High. The Torah of the Most High. Which is loving, harmonious friendship relationships with one another, guys. Not tariffs and embargoes and threatening war and rumors of wars and blowing people up and assassinating people with drones and killing people and setting up banks in other people's nations, and if they don't agree, we kill them off and set up fake-ass leaders in their place. No. And why is everybody doing that? Not materialism? It's not about the money? That hasn't taken the heart and the soul of humanity and put it in bondage? Materialism? So what do you think you need to be free from today? But it's hard. It's hard, is it not? It's hard to be free from that because it's all we've known. That's all you've known. Materialism. Having money so I can have the things that I need so I can be comfortable. I have to pay my bills, so I have to go to work. Have to. When the Most High told us, take no thought of what you should eat or drink. So when you all say you're serving God, are you really? I mean, it's just a simple question, guys. He says, take no thought of what you should eat or drink. So if you're saying, I got to go to work and pay my bills and buy my groceries, and if I don't go to work, I'm just not going to be able to do those things. So you're taking thought of it or not? So how many of you actually serve God? And tell me that that was not what the children of Israel had to do in the wilderness for 40 years. That it wasn't about them learning to trust in Abba Yah when he provided manna and water from the rock and they walked on dry ground through the Red Sea. That it wasn't about learning to trust him. And what did they say? Let's go back to Egypt. Let's go back to Egypt. Well, at least we had our homes. At least we had some money. At least we had some food to eat. You see? Materialism. So everybody has to make that choice. And as the world of materialism lies and all that starts to fall, as it's doing now, it's crumbling and falling. Everybody's going to have to make the decision of where they're going to put their allegiance. Truth and love, or fear and death. Lies. And so as this consciousness shifts on a complete scale, everything is going to shift. And everybody's going to understand that it was about love all along. Because they all know it. You all know it inside of yourself that it's about love. That you've been so manipulated with that word and so tricked with that word that you don't have any faith in it anymore. Instead of looking to the source of love, Nope, you're looking to people. You're looking to things to make you feel loved instead of the source of love. You want some water. Instead of going to the source of the water to get it, you'd rather just go to a secondhand store. Because that's the way this world is it not? Can't go to the source anymore. Well, we're going to start going back to the source. Picking the fruit right off the stem again. Instead of it being controlled and ruled so that someone could gain more material. What did George Soros say? I'm here to make money. And I don't care what I gotta do to get it. I'm here to make as much of it as I can. And y'all are thinking that that's what it's about? The battle between mammon, materialism, and the source who created the material? You have to soften your hearts today, because the Most High knows how to soften it. He knows how to harden it and soften it. A hard head make a soft ass. That's what they say, right? Because America and the whole world is about to have a real soft ass. Seriously. Because they're just denying it and denying it and denying it and searching after more gain and more gain and more gain as everything's falling. And after it settles, and after everything settles, after it's been shaken and everything settles, then we're going to have to make that choice that I was talking about. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Yahweh and his son Yahusha indeed brought us divine love and expected us to walk in it. And that was all it was, guys. Abba Yah expects us to follow after him in divine love. To love each other. There's nothing else to be done in this world. All is vanity. Solomon, the wisest man, the wisest king there ever was, said that all is vanity except to fear God and to keep his commandments. That's it. That is the whole duty of man, he said. The whole duty of man, guys. And if you're doing anything else today other than fearing God and keeping his commandments, which is to love him and to love your neighbor as yourself, then you've missed it. And truth is going to prevail over this lies. And light will prevail over the darkness. Love will prevail over fear. And so if you are living in fear and lies, then where do you think you'll find yourself in these days to come? So turn back before it's too late and allow that to enter your hearts. Silouan.